So I've been contemplating sharing this testimony. It's actually two in one, but this is what the Lord has been doing in my life. So this is to encourage you. If the Lord tells you to do something, do it. And don't be afraid to share the gospel with other people, or don't to live out your beliefs before other people and those who are non-believers, especially those who are in different religions. So again, I'm a chaplain at a jail. So there was this young lady, and she was of the Islamic faith, and she just troubled in her mind. So I talked to the other ladies, and she stayed in her cell. So I went to her cell. I said, "Hey, my name is Lena. I'm a chaplain. I come here and I provide emotional support and spiritual support for the ladies who are doing time in here." And we talked a little bit, and I told her, I'm like, I'm a Christian chaplain, and two, like before I went in there, like she's probably not going to talk to you because she's Muslim. So anyway, I told her who I was, and I said, well, do you mind if I pray for you? And I began to share. I'm like, do you mind if I share the gospel with you? And I told her the gospel, and I said, Jesus is the only one that can set us free from the things we go through in our minds and our hearts, torment and things of that sort. So the Holy Spirit is speaking to her needs. So I asked her if I can pray for her, and she said yes. So the soul of this girl wanted Jesus. There's a story in the gospel where the demoniac in the cemetery, he ran up to Jesus, bowed down, but the demon began to speak through him. So that's kind of the case with this young lady. So she said, yes, I can pray for her. So I began to pray for her. Now I'm praying according to what the Holy Spirit is telling me to pray. And she started to cover her head and cover her ears. But I'm like, Lord, help her, set her free. You came to set liberty to the captive, to bring her soul out of every prison that it has been in from trauma and abuse. And I'm just praying for her. So I prayed for her really good. And this is the Holy Spirit. So I said, okay, I'm going to leave. And I went back out to talk to the other ladies. And then I prayed with them. And she's like looking at the door and like just looking at me now. So the next time I came back, she was still there. And this time she didn't want to talk to me. But again, the spirit in her hated the spirit in me, which is the Holy Spirit. So she called the guards and said, I'm going to punch this lady or something like that. But she never addressed me. She never came out of her cell. But the spirit could not be in the same atmosphere as me. And again, I began to pray for this young lady. So I think I came back again. She was still there. But this time I didn't come for a visit. I came to get some potential new chaplains acclimated and show them around. And they're actually Middle Eastern too, Lebanese. And the young girl was Palestinian. So they actually let the girl out because her behavior started to get more and more erratic. So as me and the potential chaplains are leaving, she's let out. So she like keeps like scooting away from me and things like that. But she's saying stuff like under her breath and just being very contentious and starting conflict. But I'm just like, hey, you know, I said her name. I said, bye, I'm praying for you. And she's being threatening, but not threatening because again, she had no authority over me because I walk in the Holy Spirit. So the next night, I think, or 2 nights after that, the Lord gave me a dream. And in this dream, she had the peace of God on her face. She was smiling. She hugged me. So again, the Lord is showing me that he, like what I did had purpose. Like, although I didn't see the fruit right away, me just even going in there praying for her and showing her the love of Christ, he's going to bring forth the increase. So again, in the dream, the Lord just showed me her countenance change. She just was bright and vibrant and just loving. And when she was in jail, you can see like a darkness on her. So I have a good rapport with the correctional officers, but I don't preach to them. It's like I know I'm not there for them, but if they have questions, I'm always there to pray. I'm always there to answer any questions. But because of this woman's behavior, the topic of spiritual nature came up. She said, how much do you think is spiritual versus natural? Talking about the young woman's behavior. So this opened up the door for me to now minister to the correctional officers. And I told her, this is what Jesus did. When Jesus was on the earth, he cast out demons. I said, a lot of mental illness is linked to spiritual illness. It's a spirit behind it, driving it 90% of the time. And I told her the story about the demoniac in the Gospel of Luke and things of that sort. So me even going there to minister to the young lady opened up the door for me to minister to the correctional officers. And how Jesus is the only way. One of them was like, well, I grew up Catholic. I'm like, yeah, you can go directly to Jesus. You don't need to go to a priest. You don't need to go to a father. You go directly to Jesus Christ. He died that we may have a relationship with the Father. So I got to minister to the correctional officers also in the midst of it. I'm going to give you another testimony about another Muslim that the Lord had me to go to and how they treated me. But again, I was there to show the love of Christ and the boldness of the Holy Spirit as well. Not in a contentious fashion, but to show them who Christ is. And that one characteristic of love is long suffering. So we have to understand that too. And the Lord will tell us what season the long suffering, who to long suffer with. I needed some work done to my car. I knew of a car shop, but it had been sold like 3 or 4 times. I knew the people who owned it previously, the original owners. So in the dream, I saw this guy. He was like, he had like this cute round face. You could tell he was like a young adult and curly hair. And I end up going to the shop and I see the young man there, the man that the Lord showed me in the dream. And he was just so sweet to me, so kind, just very jovial. So I got the work done, and they are Middle Eastern. I have my Bible on my front passenger seat because I go to jail. So I have it open too. And when I got my car back, the Bible was ripped in half. Jesus, this man broke my Bible. But nevertheless, the Lord told me to go back again. That night after I picked up my car, the Lord gave me a dream. And in the dream, the man who owns the shop, I saw him in the spirit. He said, I want to give my life to Jesus. So again, the Lord is moving. We just have to be obedient. And again, we may not see the fullness of what the Lord is doing, but he is doing it. So I go back to the shop. The next time I go, I wrote a note like, do not touch anything in my car, please. And I put it right there on the Bible. And then when he got my keys, that was the first thing he went to my car to see if my Bible was still there. So again, we have to live out loud to unbelievers and those who are in dark faith and dark religions. So bye for now. See you in the next video.